Welcome to Mr. Chalk's Revision Tips. In this video we will look at DNA, genes and chromosomes. DNA is a complex chemical that carries genetic information. So DNA is contained in chromosomes which are found in the nucleus of most cells. The gene is the unit of inheritance, and it comes in different forms of the same, different forms of the same gene are called alleles. So chromosomes are egg-shaped objects found in the nucleus of most cells. They consist of long strands of a subunit called deoxyribonucleic acid, or DNA. A section of DNA that has a genetic code for making a particular protein is called a gene. The gene is the unit of inheritance, and each chromosome may have several thousand genes. So we inherit particular chromosomes from the egg of our mother and the sperm of your father. So the genes on those chromosomes carry the code that determines our physical characteristics, which are a combination of both of our parents. The bases in DNA or in a DNA molecule carry the different codes needed for different amino acids. The code for a particular amino acid is made up of 3 bases in a particular order. So in genetic material in a nucleus, it's made of a chemical called DNA. So DNA is a polymer. This is made up of smaller units or monomers called nucleotides. So nucleotide is made of a sugar, a phosphate group and 4 different bases. So DNA is a double helix. DNA is shown as a double twisted string with interlocking parts. So base pairs on the DNA molecule go and pair up. So A always goes with T, G always goes with C. Each strand of DNA is made from chemicals called bases. Do not confuse these with bases that you meet and study in acids and alkalis in chemistry. So like we've said, there are 4 different types of bases. And in DNA, 2 strands coil together to form a double helix. There are chemical cross-links between the 2 strands formed by the base pairs. So if we're looking at what DNA is made of, it would be nucleotides. How many strands make up DNA is 2, because then they go and coil together and form a double helix. And if we're looking at how many different bases are contained within DNA, it's going to be 4, which are A, T, C and G. The genome of an organism is inscribed in DNA or in some viruses RNA. So the portion of the genome that codes for a protein or an RNA is referred to as a gene. These genes code for proteins and are composed of trinucleotide units called codons, each coding for a single amino acid. So a gene is the basic physical and functional unit of heredity, so it's what you're going to go and inherit. Genes are made up of DNA. Some genes act as instructions to make molecules and proteins. However, many genes do not code for proteins and have different functions. So if a gene becomes damaged or mutation, it can lead to cells no longer working properly and can lead to things like cancer. So if we're looking for what a set of 3 nucleotides is called, it's going to be called a codon. And if we're looking for what a codon codes for, it would be a particular amino acid. The chromosome of a cell or in a cell nucleus, so they carry the genetic information. Chromosomes are made up of DNA and protein combined as chromatin. So each chromosome contains many genes. So the chromosomes of a cell are found in the cell nucleus. They carry genetic information from both parents. Each chromosome contains many genes. Chromosomes carry genetic information in the form or formed by a molecule of DNA. So each human body cell contains 46 chromosomes. So these can be arranged into 23 pairs. So each chromosome in the pair carries the same type of genes. So chromosomes are important to the process to ensure that DNA is not damaged during replication. So chromosomes contain DNA molecules. So we're describing the function of DNA. It's acting as a code to sequence amino acids which form specific types of proteins. The genome is the entire genetic material of an organism. It is found in the nucleus of a cell and is composed of a chemical called DNA, like we've seen. So a study of the structure and function of the genome is called genomics. So the Human Genome Project is a global long-term research effort that was used to identify an estimated 30,000 genes from human DNA, and probably more now, and to figure out the sequences of chemical bases that make them up. So the project made the sequence of human genome tools to analyze them freely across the world via the internet, so many people could use it. So by studying the similarities and differences between human genes and those in other organisms, researchers can discover the functions of particular genes and identify which genes are critical for life.
Thanks for watching.